our repeated efforts to reach Tom Price himself and ask him if he has been notified that he is the subject of a federal criminal investigation. We got no comment from Tom Price or from his department, from HHS, about it. And actually, in fact, we didn't even get a no comment. We literally got no comment. We got dial tone, nobody home. Nobody even there to tell us no. Nobody even, usually what you get is, I'll call you right back, and then they never call back. We got nobody. If anybody out there knows how to reach the Department of Health and Human Services, let us know. We could not get a single freaking person to answer the phone all afternoon long today. www.sendittorachel.com. I mean, this Tom Price thing, this is the kind of thing that will hopefully result in Congress making some inquiries, right? It's no small thing for a cabinet secretary to be under federal criminal investigation. Just as it's no small thing for a U.S. attorney to be fired in the middle of overseeing such an investigation, if that is what happened here. So that's a big potential scandal. And we can't get anything out of the administration on it. Maybe Congress can. That said, Congress is busy right now. On Monday morning, in a normal universe, the biggest thing going on in the country would be the start of the confirmation hearings for Neil Gorsuch, the nominee to be the next Supreme Court Justice. That is obviously a big deal. Those hearings are expected to go on for 4 days starting Monday. Democrats will likely oppose him in large numbers, if not unanimously. Democrats may also act procedurally to slow down this thing, to slow roll his nomination as long as possible. Substantively, Democrats appear to be focusing on his work defending torture and his enthusiasm for Guantanamo during the George W. Bush administration. But honestly, lines of inquiry, potential scandals can be hard to predict before these things get started. So we will see starting Monday morning. That said, I have to tell you, even the confirmation hearings for a Supreme Court nominee starting Monday morning, even those hearings are likely to be overshadowed by the other hearings that are starting on Capitol Hill at the same time on Monday morning. On Monday morning, 10 a.m. Eastern, we get the first public congressional hearing into the links between the new administration and Russia. Former Intelligence Director James Clapper and FBI Director James Comey are due to testify Monday morning in the first open session testimony that we've got about the Russian intervention into the election to help Donald Trump and any ties that may exist between Russia and the Trump campaign. We have been reporting our little hearts out on this all day. And I can tell you that there are a lot of rumors circulating right now as to what Director Comey will testify about on Monday, what he will or won't describe in terms of ongoing investigations into links between Trump and Russia. But despite our best efforts, it's rumors only at this point. It's nothing we can report with any confidence as to what Comey is going to say. I mean, in this case, we're going to learn it anyway. We're going to learn what he has to say just by waiting. He's going to be testifying Monday morning. That's House Intelligence. Also today, the other inquiry, the one in the Senate, they made their first announcement about what's going to be their first public hearing into the Russian attack on our election. Senator Richard Burr on the left side of your screen, Senator Mark Warner on the right side of your screen. They together announced today that about a week and a half after we get Comey and Clapper testifying on Russia on Monday, about a week and a half later, on Thursday, March 30th, we're going to get the Senate starting their public inquiry into Russia as well. And the Senate hearing, I got to tell you, something I would definitely sign up for if it was a college class and I was still a surly college student. Look at the title. I have to say, this sounds awesome. Disinformation, a primer in Russian active measures and influence campaigns. Really? And it's in two parts. The first part in the morning is going to be the history and characteristics of Russian disinformation campaigns. And then the second part is going to be the role and capability of cyber operations in support of those activities. Yes, please. And can I sign up for office hours now with the TA and the professor? That sounds great. The title again, Disinformation, a primer in Russian active measures and influence campaigns. I would read that if that was a novel. But that was just announced today. That's going to be on Thursday, March 30th. And we also got a related big piece of news today in the form of something that, basically in the form of something that wasn't announced. You might remember earlier this this week, the NSA, FBI, and the CIA all got a letter from the top Republican and the top Democrat on the House Intelligence Committee, and that letter asked about this guy, Mike Flynn. You know, it is a scandal in itself. It is a scandal surpassing and even eclipsing the alleged use of Douglas MacArthur memorabilia in a U.S. Navy sex and bribery ring in Manila. It is a scandal already of immense proportions that the National Security Advisor had to get fired 24 days into his tenure because of the content of his communications with the foreign government, with Russia. That is an enormous scandal in its own right, one that has a lot of unanswered questions still around it. And one of the important things that remains unexplained about Mike Flynn's firing as National Security Advisor is how anybody knew what he was talking to the Russian government about. Mike Flynn's calls with the Russians were apparently listened into by U.S. agencies who were surveilling those calls. And it's one thing to listen in on Russian government officials, but Americans are not supposed to be surveilled by U.S. agencies unless there's a court-ordered warrant that says it's okay to do so. Mike Flynn was surveilled. Why? Was Mike Flynn the subject of a warrant? If so, was it a warrant for a criminal investigation? Was it a warrant for a counterintelligence investigation? And in either instance, if he was on the warrant, if there was a court-ordered warrant to surveil him because of one of those types of investigations, how on earth did the White House end up appointing him to be National Security Advisor under those circumstances? So the CIA, the FBI, and the NSA all got a letter demanding that information about Mike Flynn by today. Why was Mike Flynn surveilled? Why was Mike Flynn, why were his contacts with the Russians surveilled by U.S. agencies? Tell us by Friday, March 17th. Tell us by today. That letter sent to the NSA, FBI, CIA, it was sent to them by one of the committees that oversees those agencies. FBI, CIA, NSA, they really can't refuse to hand over this information to the Intelligence Committee. But apparently, they're not doing it. I almost can't believe it. This is really, really not normal. The intelligence chair put out a statement today, sort of cryptically worded, but what it says is that of these three agencies who were sent this letter, who were told to explain this Michael Flynn thing, told to respond by today, of those three agencies, only the NSA, quote, partially responded. The NSA apparently promised the committee that they will fully respond by the end of next week, but the CIA and the FBI, apparently they haven't responded at all. They haven't said beep. At least not by 9 p.m. Eastern time tonight, they hadn't. That's nuts. I mean, that's impossible. That's at least not normal. That is at least a really big national security deal. I know it seems like an arcane thing about who you communicate with and who you have to answer to, but you know what? If agencies like the FBI and the CIA won't hand over information like this to the committees that oversee them, that's a really big national security deal. That is not the way things work. I mean, those agencies may not want to hand it over, but they have to. They certainly may not want to release that information publicly, but they really do have to release it confidentially to the committee. These agencies, FBI, CIA, NSA, right? These agencies are overseen by Congress. They cannot say no to a request like this from Congress.
Apparently they can.
Apparently,